And welcome to another edition of South Texas Crossfire. This is Attorney Joe Flores reminding you to join us each and every week right here on KTMB with the Lopez family. Special thanks to Don Humberto Lozano Lopez. This is his first year anniversary. We are honoring him and remembering him, and he has a memorial here in our show, in the form of our show and all the radio shows right here on KTMB with the Lopez Broadcasting. I also give thanks to all the Lopez family and my good friend, you guessed it, Carlos Lopez, the Ted Turner of South Texas Broadcasting. I also want to take a big welcome and thanks to River City Hospice, 882-5900. That's 361-882-5900. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to call if your loved one has Alzheimer's, lung problems, severe heart problems, kidney problems, or unexplained weight loss. Give them a call. Get more information about hospice. It's not what you think. 882-5900. And of course, they handle cancer. So you need to call hospice, 882-5900. Hope, dignity, and love. It's got to be hospice. Janet Montaigne and all the River City family servicing Beaumont, Houston, San Antonio, and right here in Corpus Christi in the South Texas area. Give them a call, 882-5900. And also Vasquez Flores Home Health. Want a job in healthcare, helping others, and get your start? Call 881-9922. That's 881-9922, Vasquez Flores Home Health. Also, we're going to be talking about, you guessed it, immigration. Ladies and gentlemen, this topic is extremely important, whether you are for immigration or against it. We're going to be talking about this because it is so important. Many people are on the path to citizenship the right way, and then we're going to be talking about illegal entry with none other than our good friend Juan Reyna, attorney at law. He's going to be talking about immigration, illegal entry, and the federal system and how it works. So stay tuned. And we're back after a brief break. You're watching Attorney Joe Flores right here on South Texas Crossfire. Special thanks to the Lopez family. Don Humberto Lozano Lopez, a year he has been gone. We honor and venerate him, and we stand on his shoulders. Without him, this station would not be possible, and the radio stations. With me today, I have a very important guest, someone who is going to help people better understand not only the federal system last time he was here, now we're going to be talking about a hot button topic with many people, especially what's going on in Arizona with immigration. And I'll switch to a little bit of Spanish. Bienvenidos a mis amigos aquí que hablan nuestro idioma español. Vamos a estar hablando de inmigración. Si tienen preguntas de inmigración, pueden mirar aquí este programa ahora con el abogado Juan Reyna. No se lo pierde aquí, Juan Reyna. So we're here with Juan Reyna, and we're going to be talking about the general topic of immigration. Now remember, this does not constitute legal advice. The attorney of your choice is who to call, but we're going to be talking with Juan Reyna right here, right now. Welcome, Juan.
Hey, good to see you, Joe.
Well, it's always an honor to have you on, Juan. And listen, you've been getting a lot of calls. You've been doing federal law for years. And also, along with that comes the immigration components that you also handle, because people come in, illegal entry. And we want to talk about the harrowing experiences that you've encountered, and also what opportunities there are for something to do the right thing and get on the right path. So tell us a little bit about your experiences that you've had with the immigration, illegal and legal, and those issues that impact America.
Well, I think it's at the forefront of what's taking place in public discussion right now, Joe. We are a nation of immigrants, and this is a defining moment right now in American history. There's a lot of talk about upcoming or proposed changes to our immigration laws. If you recall, back in 2007, there was a comprehensive approach that was a bipartisan agreement that was reached up in Washington, being spearheaded by former President George W. Bush. Unfortunately, those measures were defeated. They did not become law. Like you, our entry into immigration law came out of our experiences representing individuals who are being prosecuted for not having their paperwork, being prosecuted for what we call illegal entry. Those are 1325 charges. Those are misdemeanor charges. You can spend up to 6 months in jail or in the Federal Bureau of Prisons, rather. And the 1326 federal felony cases, which are more serious. Those are illegal reentry cases, and depending on a person's circumstances or criminal background and the number of times that they have been deported prior to picking up that 1326 case, you can spend up to 20 years in a federal bureau of prisons. So these are all serious matters, and it's been a true pleasure and an honor helping out the community, people who face these difficult circumstances, and then others who do not want to get caught up in those circumstances, those individuals who are seeking to obtain the Department of Homeland Security's permission, the United States government's permission to be here lawfully in terms of work visas, and trying to obtain a path to citizenship.
Well, and we see the frustration, too, that the federal judges, they do a fantastic job, but they are flooded with immigration cases from here to the valley. And often they chastise, rightfully so, the people who repeatedly enter this country without permission and say, you are cheating that immigrant that is trying to do it the right way.
Right.
You are cheating the system where a person takes their citizenship classes, does the pathway, and now I see that we may have an opportunity to rectify the situation where people that are living here may have an opportunity in a path if they haven't gotten in trouble. We see a lot of people now that have misdemeanor and felony records. They come over here and they don't just come here to work, they break the law. So the frustration is that the federal judge throws the book at them. So que estamos mirando y estamos escuchando el abogado Juan Reyna, estamos hablando de inmigración. Si hablas nuestro idioma español, por favor, escucha estas palabras. Y si necesitas ayuda o tienes preguntas, puedes llamar a 993-8100. 993-8100, el abogado Juan Reyna. So Juan, going back to English and talking about that, what are your thoughts about the pathway? If somebody's living here in the shadows, what can they do, or just in a broad sense, what can happen that maybe will put them on the path? That way, all these people that despise illegal immigration, their concerns can be assuaged, and also this person can get on the path to citizenship. What might be the first step?
Well, everyone's different, and everyone's classification is different. You know, the truth is there are various exceptions or exemptions that can be applied for depending on the length of time that an individual has been within this country. There are people, unfortunately, who have been living in the shadows for decades. But when they do so, oftentimes what you find is that they are married to a United States citizen. Their children were born in this country. They are United States citizens. And those type of factors, there are things in the law that allow an individual who finds themselves in those circumstances to seek those type of hardship cases and to seek those type of protections within an immigration court in order to get their paperwork in order. And there's some proposed rule changes that may come into effect, which would make it just a little bit easier for individuals to be able to take advantage of that. But it's not a one-size-fits-all by any means. It's very case-specific.
Cada caso es diferente y diferente los factores que afectan a nuestra gente. Si están escuchando y hablan nuestro idioma, por favor, puedes llamar a 993-8100. Otra vez, el número del área es 361-993-8100 si tienes preguntas y sin mortificación. Último, hora tienes una esperanza que puedes aprovechar de este proceso ahorita, donde pueden agarrar como ciudadano aquí de los Estados Unidos. Again, the issue here is that those people that live in the shadows, let's talk fact. You know, I was on the phone with the guy who put the KKK out of business, and we are talking about Morris Dees from the Southern Poverty Center, and he also indicated that now more and more there's aggression and hate towards immigrants because they live in the shadows. They can't make a police report. Somebody pays them or doesn't pay them, and they say, too bad, you're working for $3 an hour. Go ahead and good luck reporting me to the wage an hour. So a lot of these people also living in the shadows are being severely taken advantage of.
That's right, absolutely. And there's inherent dangers and major problems associated that you see out there right now. And that's a classic example the exploitation of immigrant labor. It's an enormous problem because who are they to complain to without obviously raising an enormous red flag that says, hey, I'm here illegally and you're going to the authorities. You see in the news the problems over in Arizona. You saw it in Alabama where the state legislature tries to go in and preempt the federal government and enact state laws making it illegal for an individual to be in the state unlawfully and giving the police additional authority to inquire into a person's citizenship. The good news is that this current administration's Justice Department is taking a very strong stance opposing those measures, that obviously understanding and acknowledging that it could lead to horrific abuses of individual civil rights, because in the end, it's not a crime in America, a country of free speech, to speak the Spanish language.
Well, and
it's
you're right.
not illegal. It's not unlawful for an individual to be bilingual in this country. It's not unlawful to speak Spanish in public. And so the whole point is, if a United States citizen happens to speak 2 languages, like many of us do, some of us speak 3 or 4 languages, by what basis then would a police officer have to have a reasonable suspicion that an individual is undocumented or is not a United States citizen or somehow is here unlawfully? By what means is that reasonable suspicion arising? Without making some horrific assumptions, which in many respects, unfortunately, will very much be racially based. And that's the problem that the United States Justice Department has with these laws and these approaches that you see in Arizona or Alabama. You're seeing the federal courts scale those back, and rightfully so, because they very much can lead to major problems and major abuses of human rights and civil rights.
Well, you're absolutely right. Estamos escuchando y mirando al abogado Juan Reyna. You're watching Juan Reyna, 993-8100, 993-8100. Y si tienes preguntas, por favor, lo llamas al número del área otra vez, 361-993-8100. Y también estamos hablando del peligro que tienen muchos que están aquí en los Estados Unidos, que hay riesgos. Si no estás aquí haciendo los papeles, haciendo el paso que es derecho a agarrar sus derechos civiles aquí, pueden estar trabajando y le están aprovechando. Un empleador los puede estar pagando muy poco, y también lo están aprovechando también, o abusos a la gente, a sus derechos civiles. So we're talking about human rights and also about what can happen to the people that are living in the shadows that they don't even know. There's a knowledge deficit. They may be able to have a path to citizenship. We've got about a minute left, but what is the process, if you will, if someone wants to have the path to citizenship, they've got the paperwork, but they have, say, a cousin or somebody who's tempted to what? Pay a coyote, because you know human trafficking is surpassing drug trafficking as a billion-dollar industry.
That's right.
I mean, what would you tell those people who said, well, the process takes too long, I think I'm going to go ahead, I've never done it before, but I'm going to pay a coyote $3,500, cross the river, go through the desert here, or the monte, as they say,
yeah,
and come over here? What are the inherent dangers of doing that opposed to trying to get a path to citizenship?
Well, the inherent dangers is obviously it could potentially cost that individual their life, their liberty. Oftentimes, these individuals are kept captive. They are exploited. Their family members are exploited, and you're basically held ransom. There's so many inherent dangers of physical violence, and not to mention just what you would experience out there in the brush, in the monte, as you put it. People die. We both had those cases, and it's quite serious. And obviously, my advice would always be to try to do it the right way. The bigger focus, though, are the individuals that are here in this country, who are hard workers, not here to break the law, not here to take advantage, but here to help provide a better life for themselves and their family. Ultimately, the coin of phrase was always, well, that was the American dream. And that dream is still very much alive. And so for these individuals, they very much should be given an opportunity that if they have abided by the rules and they're not breaking the law and they are well-intentioned and they have strong ties to this country, whether they have relations or relatives that are United States citizens, that they be given an opportunity to be able to get their paperwork in order so that they can lead constructive lives, pay into the system, pay their fair share of taxes.
There you go.
And guess what? The vast majority of them, they want to. If given the opportunity, not having to live in the shadows, not having to work under false or fictitious Social Security numbers, they very much want to have their own and have the pride and dignity that comes with being a citizen of this country, because there's so much that they're here to contribute. And as someone who's gotten to know so many of them, just like yourself, Joe, you very much appreciate their efforts and their contributions. And I think it's something that when you kind of remove the emotion behind this whole immigration debate, you can kind of find these fine examples and the good works that are being done.
Juan Reyna is here, and we're discussing immigration and those that are living in the shadows that need help with immigration questions and those that have been charged with illegal entry. No se lo pierda, Juan Reyna, abogado aquí, que estamos hablando, es el defensor que está ayudando nuestro idioma español y también nuestra cultura, la gente que están viviendo, que no han sido sus papeles, no han sido documentación. Si tienen preguntas, lo puede llamar 993-8100. No se lo pierde, Juan Reyna. Ahorita vamos a ir a comercial. Nosotros venimos para atrás y vamos a hablar con el abogado Juan Reyna, tocante de inmigración. We'll be right back. We're going to be talking about immigration. And don't forget our sponsors, River City Hospice, 882-5900, and Vasquez Flores Home Health, 881-9922. We're going to take a brief break, and when we come back, we'll be with attorney Juan Reyna talking about the immigration and the hot button topic that's affecting us all when we come back.
Call River City Hospice for your loved one's care today. River City Hospice is a compassionate, patient-centered healthcare provider with a unique approach to medical care and support for people at the end of life and their families. River City Hospice focuses on maintaining dignity, increasing quality of life, and providing comfort and reducing pain due to illness. Hospice care allows your loved one to be treated with dignity and respect and gives them the right to choose. Call 882-5900 today. Hope, dignity, and love. It's got to be River City Hospice.
I think it's a betrayal of public trust. That is just not ethical.
I left the Democratic Party because of her.
The reason is because you're taking Republican money.
The money of those people that pay me as a consultant. What are you taking? What did you take in Crosstown? Took money. I saw it and I saw them pay you checks.
Okay, hold on. Everybody.
Have you been arrested or are potentially facing criminal charges? You need a trial attorney who is well-versed in the courtroom. Joe Flores has handled hundreds of criminal cases and many of them to trial. Joe Flores can provide you with competent representation to protect your constitutional rights in state and federal court. Joe Flores can help if you have been arrested or facing criminal charges. The law offices of Joe Flores. Equal justice for all.